Hello and welcome to the Nerdic podcast 260. 5 years old to the day. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to Nerd Gods. Happy birthday to us. Hip hip.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hip hip.
All right.
Hip hip.
We're not doing that.
Okay. Yeah, man. 5 years. What we gonna do? 5 years.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast will be here any minute now. Mr. Beast will be here.
No Connor.
No, fuck Connor. He's too good now with his promotion. Guys, I gotta be off the podcast because the big Mr. Big Short is gonna be teaching me how to turn the beans round. Ooh, fuck off. What does he do anyway? Come on, let's face it. What does he do?
I mean, he is a forklift operator.
He gets stoned, and then he comes back, and he gets stoned again.
Yeah.
And then he drives a forklift. Watches the UFC.
He drives a forklift. Yeah.
He's definitely a murderer.
You think so?
Yeah. I reckon if he lived in England, he'd get baked beans and drain all the tomato and individually lay out each bean.
Would he put them on toast?
No, you just leave them there because he's weird.
Oh. Interesting.
What's with the beans on toast hate anyway? You've never had beans on toast.
Hate.
It's the greatest thing ever made. It's the greatest thing ever. Why not?
No, I'm good.
It's good, man. It's like tomato sauce, beans.
Yeah, those are a different type of beans than like baked
Exactly.
beans.
So you're there hating on my beans. You've never had my beans.
Nah.
Beans on toast, egg, bosh.
Nah. I would like a full English though. Never had one of those.
It's just sausage, bacon, eggs, hash brown.
Like mushrooms, right?
Mushrooms. It's bad. It's safe to say that. My sneeze is bad. It's crazy because I've been making one in less than 12 hours.
Oh yeah.
That's what I do, baby. That's what I do. So, how are you? Let's talk about the 5 years.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like 5 years ago, we started to do this. Where's that 5 years gone?
I don't know. It's a great question. Yeah, it's been even longer than 5 years because it's like the end of 2019 is when I put the post out trying to find people to do it with. I think that was like November 2019 or something like that. And then it took a couple months before we actually started doing it.
And now, 5 years, I've gone through 2 cars, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. What are we doing with ourselves?
A long time.
Well,
I don't know.
hopefully next week, hopefully one day Connor can be on. We could talk about our feelings together. But today we got to talk about other feelings. About Xbox just giving up.
I mean, I don't think we have one actual good news story. It's all just negative.
Negative news on the 5-year anniversary.
No, I take that back. There is one decent news story. It's the Gears of War one.
And
every other one's pretty negative.
Let's get into it right now, and we'll start off with: is it negative? Why are we thinking this is negative for you? Because your boys over Xbox they just rolled over that dog,
negative.
Just like that dog, where they're like, just rub my belly, because they can't.
It's just negative that there's a platform just slowly. We want more platforms. It just helps. Competition helps, but seeing somebody turn over like that, yeah.
Is that what you see it as? Them turning over?
A little bit. Maybe not the game side, but the hardware side, yeah.
For context for the viewers, we'll start off with the first news. What does Connor say? It's been a very busy week in the week of video news, games, videos.
Yes, it's
Yes.
exactly word for word what he
That's
says.
exactly what he says. Because he's always stoned. Like, you don't know what he says. He's like, ooh, I don't know, man. Ooh,
Where's your cup of
forklift.
coffee? He's always
Ooh. Yeah, he's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. That's what he does all the time. Story number one. For Xbox, just come out of the blue about an hour ago. Ruined my dinner. He was like, yo, listen, that Forza game, best racer in the world, is coming to your PlayStations. How do you feel about that, Daniel?
I think that's awesome. What did they actually put a date, or did they just say it is? Let me see.
This
It
spring,
just says wish list. Yeah, this spring, so no exact time yet.
April 1st, bosh,
Um,
have some of that.
and there's crossplay on all
Yeah,
platforms, which is awesome. That's incredible. Yeah, they actually have an article here. Let's see what they say.
this is definitely a game that needed to be on all platforms. This game is
For sure,
is the best
arguably the
racing
best racing
game
game ever made, right?
by
One of
far.
them.
But oh god, I'm drawing. Hold on. Yeah, 100%, definitely the best driving game ever.
I mean, it won IGN's Game of the Year in 2021. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and
It's a
who'd have
car game.
thought? And then they're just giving his everybody up for Forza 6 October.
Doing what?
They're just getting us
Oh
ready for
yeah, you
Forza
have it.
6.
You have. You're right. You have. You
Because
think
I'm
that's what
going
it
to
is, and then Forza 6 is coming to PlayStation
Why
as well.
not? Why not introduce everyone to Forza 5? And then when they announce Forza 6, saying, oh, it's out on all platforms, PlayStation fans don't need to hesitate. They're like, oh, I played a bit of Forza 5, it's sick. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like that's a really good, like especially it's spring and then come out in the fall, or even if it comes out next year. I know you have it in your fans. Even if it comes out next year, it's like get people used to this franchise um, on PlayStation. So I think that's a great idea. I mean, Forza 6 is the next one. They're not going to do a more motorsport next.
It's obviously there's the only news that's really out of this is that Forza's coming to. This is just Xbox's Xbox. We already know Xbox is already doing this, so but coming from like the hardcore fans that I don't know. For someone who's not bothered, plays the games wherever they can, as cheap as possible. Obviously prefers the PlayStation for some reason. Maybe because and that's where my ecosystem is, and I've played on that platinum for years.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of I couldn't help but nearly spit my drink. I was like nomming and like fucking hell, like bloody hell, like you know they're coming, but I can't help but feel like I'm gonna feel like this when inevitably Halo does, definitely Halo, and
I
inevitably
mean, that's
Gears
the next
does.
big one. I'm
And I'm
assuming
just
the Master Chief Collection would be the next big
it's
thing.
weird.
Right?
It's weird. But
Yeah. I mean, I would expect pretty much everything at this point.
I think once if Halo comes, which is the one that I'll be the most funniest about,
Yeah.
not like, oh, can't believe he's coming to PlayStation. It just, I don't know, I just feel like Halo is Xbox. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they change the name to Xbox tomorrow to Halo, I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. It makes loads of sense.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah,
I mean,
it's a strange one. A lot at the end of the day,
It will feel weird.
it's making money. Like they spent $69 billion on this. On the Activision, and then they spent a load of money on Bethesda, and obviously the Microsoft themselves are just like this is not paying off the way you're doing it. I think we should do it this way, and it benefits everybody, but I think it just upsets the people that have issues.
Yeah, those weird people,
The ones that still suck on the mum's titties.
Microsoft just put out their numbers. 2 days ago that they're like they're the publisher that has made the most money in this past year. So it's like, I guess that's mostly Call of Duty, but still, like,
And that's what they did it for. That's what they bought it for.
They're looking at the software as their big thing now, whether that's the games or even their subscription services. Game Pass still making money, so I think that's what their plan is. Maybe continue to make hardware, but just focus on the software.
I mean, when do they just give up with the hardware? When does it? Does it come to a point? Does it come to a point where? cloud stuff and playing on our TVs and playing on our laptops and playing on our Fire Sticks and playing on our refrigerators is that good, well, what's the point?
Do you think PlayStation will let Game Pass on PlayStation? We talked about that a few years ago.
I mean, it's got to be beneficial to PlayStation. PlayStation will have to find it beneficial to themselves. Like they'll have to get a good court. They'll have to get. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's I think the really the big question. If they can get Game Pass on PlayStation, then maybe they do give up on making a lot of hardware. Maybe they make handhelds or something.
Did they just make one big? Did they just make? I don't know, because you like as an Xbox. I was gonna say, oh, what did they just make one big mega Xbox, and it's like £800-900? But then, like, why would anyone buy that for £900 when they could buy a PlayStation?
Yeah, exactly.
And then play everything. So yeah, maybe they do go down the handheld route. I don't know. I think it's inevitable. Like that within 5 years, I don't think Xbox are making consoles. But then you could say that for PlayStation, they could stop making consoles. But I think PlayStation are very much that is their MO. It's like we make consoles, we make the console,
or just hardware in general. Or Sony's a very big hardware company. You know, they make a lot of hardware.
But no, it can't. It's a positive, and I don't look at it as a negative. And hopefully, like as someone who plays Xbox more than I would, you don't find this negative. Listen to kind of funny nights. Know about Mike was like being the biggest Xbox fan. Like he just find it like doesn't know how to feel about them. Like there's more than one way to play the Xbox. So like he was like he's not played his Xbox in ages because he can just play on the PlayStation on the PC. Yeah, and it's just like it makes sense. Like if it's there, use it.
I think Xbox is like if you're buying the game, does it really matter where you're buying it, right?
No, because they own what 60% of the market.
I mean, we saw when they put those games on PlayStation, Sea of Thieves was like so high up on PlayStation's sales, the sales charts.
And then, but like now you're seeing publishers like EA and Ubisoft struggle. Like the numbers are coming out from EA and they're negative, and I'm like, so what at what point do they go to? They go to an Xbox, to a Microsoft, and say, "Oh, you know,
you buy us too."
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't work like that. Well,
I mean, I think didn't it work like that with ZeniMax? Right? They were shopping themselves around, and Activision. Weren't they shopping themselves around?
I think EA is the one that probably wouldn't, but Ubisoft,
yeah,
they're definitely going somewhere.
Yeah, who would? Yeah, we keep talking about who would buy Ubisoft. That's a crazy thought.
I think it's going down the wrong route of is it Tencent that already owns a bit already?
They have a portion.
Yeah, I mean that can only be a negative anyway. We could be looking at a long time. Like we could be looking at Microsoft just owning 90% of the market 10 years time. Like they do own EA. They do own. Not even EA, just like, the studios that EA own. Like EA probably just have Respawn.
Yeah.
I don't know how these things work, but it's changing more quicker than I ever thought it ever would. Considering we're all freaking out this time last year, we were all freaking out. Xbox were holding emergency meetings, like, whoa, let's just slow down. Obviously, things are changing, yes. We're going to try some little titles. It took 12 months, really. We're 12 months later, and we're at where we are now. What have they released? Just Forza 5 now. What was the other game they just put?
Indie's about to come out.
Yeah, that one. They announced that. But it took 12. It took 12 months. Yeah, that was 12 months ago.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush and the Pirate game. But it took a long time. It took a hell of a long time. So I don't think they're in a rush to do it, but
I mean, we're about to see Xbox publish a lot of games this year.
Yeah, and a lot of them games from last week were PS5,
PS5,
PS5. I think. I mean, it's got to help their bottom line at the end of the day. I just think they'll miss out saying. Obviously, they've changed all their marketing strategies. Like, I think what was their old my Xbox is the best place to play games or whatever they used to say or whatever.
It was like power to the players as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. And now it's like play it any way you want. Like
Hmm.
if they could have it their way, they would have it on the PlayStation. That episode,
I mean,
that the advert would be this is a their PlayStation would look like they'd be like this is an Xbox. PlayStation would
well,
never
Xbox
allow
has
that.
the best cloud saves, and
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
play
the
anywhere stuff.
PlayStation,
Like
PlayStation,
PlayStation definitely has to work on that.
yeah, it's the worst thing ever. Like, Steam's on it, Xbox is on it. Nintendo will do whatever Nintendo does,
Yeah, PlayStation's weirdly not as good with their cloud save stuff. I don't understand.
but we'll see. So it's changing, like, and
Are you expecting Halo to be the next one?
that's the one I can't get my head around. Like, it's the one I don't even like
Do you think
talking
Gears
about.
before Halo?
I just don't like the idea of them being on the PlayStation, and I think that's just the change that I don't like. That's the
Yeah.
that is the old, the old man in me of like, I don't belong there. But I suppose times are changing. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get over it. If I'm playing Halo on my PlayStation 5, then there's something like something's times have changed, and
For sure.
going back to us, we started 5 years ago. Things have changed. We've seen a load of things. We've seen the Bethesda. We've seen the Activision. We've heard about the Activision trial. We've seen loot boxes. We've seen it all.
Mhm.
So in the next 5 more years, if we're still doing this, what does it look like? We're sat here
Yeah.
on our hoverboards with our AI girlfriends and having a great time. So
Yeah, who knows? I mean, that'd be 2030. That's
changes, and it's
it'd be a new
scary.
generation of consoles at
Are
least.
we are we
Yeah.
going? We just is Xbox got a console? PlayStation 6 is out. PlayStation 6 is probably PlayStation 6. He's now includes Xbox Games Pass on the box. Oh, fuck, I don't know. But moving on to to find out. I don't know how this technology works. Sticking with Xbox, people can fly. People would say the worst developers of the Gears of War franchise made Judgment the worst one in the
Yeah, they
franchise.
made a lot of.
Yeah, but
They assisted with the other ones too.
all
But
I'm saying is that Gears of War Judgment not very good.
it's not a bad game. It's
And my
not. It's the
friends,
worst Gears game, but it's not a bad game.
but my best friends, right? My old best friends, they were like, "This is the best one," and I've never agreed with them.
No.
And some say we've never recovered from it.
Yeah, it's all been downhill.
Yeah, People Can Fly have joined the coalition as co-developers of Gears of War E-Day. It's almost like it's just gone full circle.
Yeah, for sure. Now they're
Mm.
assisting again with Gears. I think it's great. I just
Yeah,
think that means we're going
100%.
to get Gears quicker. Is all that really
Are we
means.
looking at? Are we talking this year or next year?
Next year. It's not this year. It'd
No,
be
I don't think it's
fall
this year.
next year. I think. I think it'd be their big holiday game. Maybe like when does it normally come out? September, October?
Oh, I don't know. Gears of War, they kind of do their own thing, don't they? I mean, if you looked at the Gears of War release slate, let's have a look at this. Have a look. No.
Yeah, I'm just in my head trying to recall when they come out.
Yeah, it's very much good news. And hopefully they can all. I think they can get the best out of what People Can Fly liked and the people at the coalition. They can make a really good Gears of War game. I mean, is it good? Is it going back to basics? Are we talking, just linear mission structure like
Yeah,
Gears of War
more.
1 to 4, 1 to 3 at least 1 to 4. I'm a big Gears of War fan. I got a Gears of War tattoo.
Me too. And not the
But
tattoo.
but I didn't like the way they kind of it kind of went very much like a bit open worldy, and I'm like, oh, now you're just following a trend.
Yeah, I love Gears 5, but I didn't need the open world part.
No, and it just Yeah, I just think hopefully we can get a good concise story of like really from the beginning days, the boys together, going through the thick of it, like, oh, what's happening to the world? Whoa, what's happening here? Noises from the iPad. Loud noises from the iPad. So in order we got. Oh, it doesn't give us dates.
Yeah, you might need to like click in and stuff to like find the
Gears of War
dates, but
6 was 2006. Steam, Reddit, IGN, Amazon. Anyway,
yeah, I know what years they came out. I just don't know exactly the month.
games in order. I don't know. Basically, they came out. What? There's not much really you can say. Like, it's just nice that the boys are together and they're having a great time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're not going to have Baird and Cole though, because you get introduced to them in Gears 1.
I'm sure they'll.
Maybe we'd see them, but I don't know. Like, that's not. They become friends in the main series, but
Maybe you'll get
there's gonna
attached.
definitely
Maybe there's like two, like another team or some
maybe
strangers.
Kim. You think they'd
Yeah,
have Kim in there,
maybe you find some
the
strangers.
original leader,
Because are they all are
or
they in the
strangers?
are they in the army in this or is it? Can't remember the trailer.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, yeah, they're part of the COG army. This is like right when the Locust invasion happens. You're muted.
We'll see. It's very little news. It's very little news, but it's nice that
Yeah,
we know.
it could help with multiplayer maps as well.
Yeah, it's always it's very much like as a fan, it's nice to know that they'll put their it'll go back. They'll have the conversation, a very grounded conversation of like, let's take this back to its roots, hopefully, and then very very little of messing around of like, oh, but I think we should take it this way, and the people no, we don't want that. Like, but hopefully, someone on the ground level is like, this is what our fans want, and hopefully we'll get that. But I'm very selfish.
Yeah, I'd like to take it back to the more horror days.
Very much so. Sorry. Next news story: if the iPad will load. Negative news. Let's do the negative news. Ubisoft has fucked up again. I believe it doesn't really give me anything to read here. I think it's a couple of studios in Europe.
Yeah, it was one studio in
Leamington or Leamington.
Yes. Yes.
Leamington.
They were the original studio that did DJ Hero.
I just think we should. I think this is going to keep happening, and it's terrible. We've said this thousands of times. I've said this hundreds of times at this point. Like, it's terrible. Like, losing a job is it's easy for these podcasters and ourselves and journalists and etc. just to go, Ubisoft has shut down another two. Tom Henderson, easy for him that. Easy for Tom Henderson to go shut down another studio, 185 jobs lost. That's it, bosh. Full stop. That's it. But it's more than that, isn't it? Like, it's 185 people lost their jobs. It's 185 people that don't know how to pay their bills. It's 185 people that have just probably bought a car and don't know how to pay for it. It's 185 people that had a purpose and now they don't have a purpose.
Or
and there's
families.
people like, yeah, exactly. And, and they probably got a couple of weeks worth of cash, and all they know is video games. All they know is coding. All they know is graphic design. All they know is, etc., etc. And by the looks of it, and the way our industry is going, it's there's not a lot going anymore, and it's just terrible. And this is why people are leaving their jobs now to find other jobs or retraining. It's all right me getting passionate, and it's not going to change, but I've lost my job through redundancies, or maybe I've left my job or whatever, and there's no worse feeling. And I've been kicked in the nuts.
Yeah.
So hopefully this will get sorted. But companies like Ubisoft and Mr. Yves Guillemot, he'll come on, he'll make an impassionate speech in June of like Ubisoft is blah blah blah. Ubisoft is a corporate full of corporate people run by investors that only care about one thing, and is themselves. And we can say that about a lot of companies, and it's just not right. It's not fair. It's not right. It's not humane. And if it doesn't make
what does
enough
that
money
mean for Ubisoft?
Yeah, and it's just shit. It doesn't make enough money. We get a report that Prince of Persia did 1.3 million sales.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
That's
it's
so
just
good.
like, well, it's not good enough though, is it?
But it's
So now that now it's done with, and now it's that and then people have lost their jobs. It's just ridiculous. Fuck you, fuck every. The problem is, right, that everything we do is run by evil people. People have got loads of money, and they're not necessarily evil. They're just the way the world things are run is just not alright, and it'll only get worse. And I think this is why we're at the point where it is just a Tom Henderson tweet. Ubisoft shuts down another studio, 185 jobs lost. Not even a. Do you know what I mean? Like, where's. I don't know.
I mean, it's not Tom's job.
I know it's not, but.
You can't blame Tom.
I'm just saying that it's got to the point where that's all it needs. That's all it gets. There's a number 185 jobs lost. Why can't we put 185 people without an income, without a way to support the family? I just feel like it should be worded a bit differently. I'm going to let my cat in.
Okay. Yeah, it's Ubisoft is in a very bad way. I hope that Tencent doesn't buy more of them. That's not who I would want to own them. But I just don't know who else would. Maybe EA, but EA's not even doing very good. I doubt PlayStation will. I doubt Xbox will at this point. I think if Ubisoft lasted longer than this, then maybe Xbox could down the line. I just don't see who else would want them. I don't think a Japanese company would.
Oh dear. Say that again. Sorry.
I just don't. I'm questioning who would even really want them.
Yeah, I mean they've got good IPs, so. But that's the thing, isn't it? Like, but someone's gonna buy them and strip them for parts, and then they'll take Far Cry, Assassin's Creed,
Rainbow Six. I mean, they have a lot of stuff, but
and then they could sell the rest of the IP on. They could sell the rest of the IP, like
Splinter Cell. I mean, all the Tom Clancy things, like.
But that could be sold for a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Xbox would love that.
Watch Dogs. The Crew. They got some good IP. They're just not really doing a lot with it.
Yeah, it's a strange one. It's weird because they used to be the cream of the crop, and then I feel like they had such a good. I think the first three versions of these new games in this new Ubisoft era they've been, it's great, and now it's the same, and then the money's starting to dwindle, and then let's try these new ideas, but because they're not making Assassin's Creed numbers, because this Prince of Persia is not making Assassin's Creed numbers, let's just bin it off. So it's a strange one, very much strange.
Yeah.
But yep, more bullshit. I need to turn on there. Sorry, but moving on. PlayStation news. We have Can you believe that these consoles came out nearly 5 years ago?
Yeah, yeah,
And it looks like
crazy
Sony's finally sunsetting the free games on the PlayStation Plus, which is
for PS4.
yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? Like, if these games, what have we just had all the games, or is it just not cost effective for them?
I mean, most of the things are playable through your PS5. Um, yeah, I kind of question why, because there are still so many PS4 users. Um, I mean, they're still trying to put out new games on the PS4, so I don't know. It's I kind of question a lot of what they're doing. I didn't really put the Herman Hulst stuff in here. If we could kind of tie all that together, all this PlayStation stuff together, like, so they demoted Herman Hulst. Now Hishino is taking over the full running of PlayStation instead of it being two people.
Yeah, it's
So
just.
I think that they are moving forward in whatever new direction, and we still have no idea what it is.
I think they are starting to steady the ship, give people roles, singular roles, more with more time to focus and put all their energy into their one role, instead of having numerous people doing the same role but in different ways. It's very messy. I think PlayStation or in Sony even are just in a, they're kind of trying to the ship has been sunk and they're trying to rebuild it, if that makes sense. They're trying to find their
Yeah,
identity again, trying to find with the story driven games, and they do sell really big, they sell really well, and then maybe they think, well, the Helldiver sold really well, maybe let's ride the coattails of that, and maybe then there could be the third party games, like they could.
yeah. It just seemed like Jim Ryan was leading them in one direction,
Yeah, very much
and
so.
maybe it was too late for them to lead them in that direction, and now like it's not working, so they're like, well, we have to go back or find a new direction. Um, so I don't know if that just means they're only going to keep making single player stuff. Are they still going to try more multiplayer things? I don't know if we really know.
It's a strange one though, because Helldivers is like the the biggest success story in the world, and Jim Ryan could just be like, we all slagging him off. He'd be like, that works, and it's the highest selling game on PlayStation. So, I don't know. It's a very strange one. It's how many of these games that we saw with the PlayStation Disaster Showcase, like. Do we see fair games? Do we see?
Yeah, where is Fair Games? Yeah.
I think Jade Raymond's up for another wham. I just don't think she's gonna get a moment in the sun, and I do hope she does, and I hope that but it's they're coming out. Maybe they need to go away for a couple more years and get forgotten about, if you will. Of just like that, I don't think they need to come out anytime soon, because everyone's going to be like, well, this is just another Concord, and it's going to be met with negative fanfare straight away because of what Concord is. It's like, I don't think what happened to Concord was so damaging, and will always be remembered. Like one of the biggest, we talk
It's probably the
about,
biggest
what do we talk about? NFL
AAA.
10 or NHL 10 got cancelled within a couple of days of it coming out or something. One of
No,
the sport.
it was
Two,
live. NBA
yeah,
Live.
and that got cancelled within a couple of days of it coming out or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's as damaging as that. So, if a fair game coming out, I'd be if I was Jade Raymond, I'd be like, I'm not releasing the game anytime soon. Like, no way, because it's just not worth it. PlayStation as a whole, like, I think Sony Ben's just announced that they've cut ties with contractors, and going back to what I just said about job being lost, contractors, yeah, fair enough, that's their life. They sign these 18-month contracts, 2-year contracts, and then they go get contracted again somewhere else, or even at the same place. That happened to place where I've worked before, where it's just like, oh, you're back, are you? He says, yeah, I got another contract for a couple more years. Oh, all right, fair enough. And but I'm sure I'm sure that works in a different way of like if you've signed a contract and they want to terminate your contract, they've got to pay for your contract. So I'm sure they're sitting pretty. That's how it works with footballers and with soccer stars, and I'm sure a contract means you're going to get paid for them 2 years. I'm sure that's what it means. But then you look at Sony Bend and like the rumors of like what they cancelled these games, this God of War game, this fucking what was it, the other game.
The Sony Bend game.
It's just a waste of time.
Live service game they were making.
It's a waste of time and energy. I don't get they Jim Ryan's like convinced and told these studios that this is where the money is, but and I'm sure they all talk to each other in the teams or whatever. I'm like, well, so we're all making live service games, and everyone's like, yeah, I'm making one, I'm making one. And then they must all think, well, how are we all going to make money then? Because if we're all releasing within a couple of year or whatever, or within a year or two, then surely they could eat each other's dinners. Like, because the people that were playing God of War online, well, now they're all going to go play Ratchet and Clank online. So then God of War online is going to die on its arse because it's not making as much money because their audience has gone to the Spider-Man online. That's what it doesn't make sense to me. That really doesn't. Because I guarantee if a big online game came out tomorrow, I'm sure the Helldivers community would. I reckon. I know they're a very niche community, but I think that would dwindle because they would go to another one.
There's only room for so many of these online games. Everyone right now is playing Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, and look at Overwatch. Overwatch just said their numbers have gone down drastically.
Yeah, because everyone's playing Rivals.
And
it's like a similar type of game to Overwatch.
And I get that it's a Marvel franchise, so obviously it's going to sell well and do well because it's Marvel. Everybody wants to be Spider-Man, everybody wants to be Captain America, but yeah, it's what the fuck was Jim Ryan thinking? That's the question.
He was thinking about making money for the
exactly, but then surely he knew about like. Sure, I suppose he was making it for. I don't know. He was going to retire, so I suppose he's worked away. I suppose he's worked a bit. You can sit there and go, "Oh, it's not work," but Helldivers is the highest selling PlayStation game.
Yeah, but that's just one.
And I get that, but that's
canceled one.
But I get that. That's a win, though, isn't it? It's a win. Yeah, fair enough. Concord wasn't.
What about Destruction All Stars?
That was a win.
Was it?
Yeah, great time.
That wasn't. That was not a win. That game did not do good. That was not a very good game. I still think that they will put out more live service. Like, Marathon's going to come out. I think that game's going to be interesting to see whether people play it or is it sync like Concord. I have faith in Bungie. The game's at least going to play well, at the minimum. I just hope that PlayStation doesn't ruin the game and not marketing the game right and not having so much microtransactions and all that kind of stuff.
It's very negative. No matter where you look. What can you see? Just a quick brief topic of like what can you see happening by the end of the year? Are we talking more game cancellations, studios shutting down, or I'd like to think
the big thing that could save a lot. I know that we talked about it last week about GTA 6 not coming out. You think it'll be delayed or whatever, but GTA 6 coming out, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge for all the platforms. It's not going to be huge for anybody else selling a game around that time. For at least a month.
And I know it's going to boost sales of consoles, etc. But GTA don't give a fuck about that. GTA has to be perfect. It has to come out on all platforms, obviously except for Nintendo. And these consoles have to run it. And I think our base consoles will struggle. And I think that's what the
You
Pro
think
will.
so?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think this is why me and you will buy a Pro or an Xbox or whatever.
Yeah,
I
but
think this will be
I
the
think
reason.
that base PS5 is going to sell so much when GTA 6 comes out.
Oh yeah.
Like that's going to be the console people are going to buy it together with.
Yeah, the console numbers will go up. I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's going to be a crazy fall.
It's crazy. It's a crazy year so far. Like, look at like the roadmap to May is incredible.
Yeah.
We'll definitely see. But this year's it's got a lot of It's got a lot of twists and turns.
And PlayStation has Ghost of Yotei. I mean, that's their big game this year that we know about. Maybe there's another. It seems to be their only really big game, unless Fair Games comes out, which I doubt it comes out this year. We haven't seen anything. Marathon's definitely not coming out this year. So maybe they just have Ghost of Yotei. Maybe MLB The Show or something like that. Do another one of those. But yeah, I don't know what else they're gonna have this year.
No, I think it's going to take another year or two to get back on their feet. I think we
You think Intergalactic's this year? Next? You think next year?
No,
That one?
the year after.
Not even. Wow.
I don't.
2027. Really?
It was like, don't get me wrong, and I've said this to someone the other day. I says, yeah, it was great, Game Awards, but they showed us things that we're not playing for 5 years, and it's exciting, but I want to see things that I'm going to play. Do what they did with Fallout. Like, this is this year. Fucking yeah, man. That's exciting.
More fact,
I don't want to wait 5 years. Like, yeah, everyone's like, oh, Fallout this, Fallout that. I'm not Fallout. Fucking The Witcher. Like, none of that was gameplay. So, like, what are we getting excited for? Like, we know it's in development. We know it's real.
But there are more people watching that than
I get it. It's the best way. Yeah.
Daily stories. Yeah.
But it's like we know that. Like, I don't need to see that yet.
That's fair. I mean, I'm with you. I would prefer like, I think a good year is like as far as you want to be, from like teaser to the game coming out. But I'm with you. Just a couple of months is the best way to go. Here's the game, and it comes out.
Like, what was it? Cyberpunk. They gave us that weird trailer years and years and years ago, and we waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. Like, it's just games. And when they announced too early, like, look at Elder Scrolls. Like, they had nothing to talk about, so they were like, "Oh yeah, but this is definitely coming out." Obviously, we know that. That was over 6 years ago now.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
Skyrim was 2011.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And then it's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, I don't want to be seeing stuff that's not happening. Like, Intergalactic, it's not happening. I'm so pessimistic about everything now. It's just like, I don't trust anything. Like, I'm old now, and I don't trust anything. I don't trust
You're not wrong to feel that way.
I'm not excited about anything anymore. Like I don't expect. I'm in like a world of like, nothing lasts forever. Like, I've learned into that. Like, even if a game's good, does it mean we're getting another one? Like, look at Days Gone, and we can go, it wasn't that good. It was a good game, and we're not getting another one because it didn't hit the numbers. Because I don't know what they wanted from it. But it's the way it is. I'm old man yells at clouds mode. God damn you kids.
Well, I guess I do want to say, I'll kind of cut into the next story, is that Sony Bend is like cutting contractors contracts. So it seems like they're kind of downsizing a bit, trying to focus what their next game is going to be.
Yeah, the contractors are signed up. They're independent people. So they're independent coders, and then they've hired these numbers. They've hired these people going, look, we're working on this product, sign this NDA, get in that room, and start fucking cracking on. Then fucking Uncle, Herman comes in, is like, what's going on in here? Oh yeah, we're not doing this anymore. What do you mean we're not doing this anymore? Well, did you see the Concord thing? Oh yeah. Well, we're not doing that anymore. Oh right, okay. So what do we do with all this? Just throw it away. What do you throw it away? Just put it in the bin, recycling bin, empty recycling bin. Disc cleanup. Oh, gone forever in the ether. And then obviously these contractors have just been told, unfortunately, your services are no longer required. Here's the money that you should have been paid. Goodbye. See you later. And they're laughing. Why not? Because these contractors are different compared to the people losing their jobs. The people losing their jobs, they'll get a bit of severance pay. They'll get a couple of months of health insurance. But these contractors, they were contracted, I don't know, 100 grand a year. They'll walk away with 200 grand because they're on a 2-year contract. So, good for them. Get paid. But this is Sony and this is Jim's. I don't say it's Jim's fault. It's Sony's fault. It's whoever's in these meetings that have gone. This seems to be the right way to go. And I'm sure when they're having these meetings, Knockout City's getting shut down. Whatever other games or these unmemorable games, unfortunately, they're getting shut down as well. So it's all daft. We should be, unfortunately, and I get that maybe Naughty Dog don't want to make Last of Us 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, but that's where your money is. Spider-Man 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's where your money is.
Yeah, my feelings on that. I wish they would do Spider-Man 3 and then kind of move on, but. I would like to see
a trilogy is always good. Yeah,
games.
100%. Yeah, and Intergalactic will make them money. But yeah,
what do you? I know you said you want Ben to do a Days Gone 2. Would you prefer that, or would you want them to try something new?
No, yeah, I definitely want a Days Gone 2. Give us. Give us Days Gone 2. Just let us try again. Give us another character. Fair enough. Maybe the world didn't work or the characters didn't work because it was never the game. No one's ever complained about the gameplay. Everyone said the game was too long. Yeah, the game was too long. Yeah, the character was quite generic. All days to and I was running and I was thinking about what could Days Gone 2 be. It's Days Gone 2. You start the game 12 years later. You all of a sudden, Deacon's got a son. Deacon's with you. You're fighting zombies, and then a rival gang's turned up out of nowhere from his past. Oh, we remember you, Deacon. You killed MC 15 years ago before the zombies turned up. They kill his wife because nobody liked her anyway, and now him and his son are on some kind of fucking mission to get revenge. I know it sounds very Last of Us, but. That shit sells, doesn't it?
I like Sam Witwer. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks that he got swept in with the game. I know me and Connor kind of make fun of the game, and maybe I need to give it more of a deep dive whenever.
But why do you dislike the game? What? It's very much a. But
it's mostly a joke.
I just don't get why it doesn't get the. I think it deserves flowers. It was a very solid. It played well. The zombie mechanics were good. The bike was good. The only thing that really let it down was probably the length of it and probably the very odd characters, if that makes sense. The world. There's a lot of stories to be told in that world, especially with the bad guys and the zombies side of things. I've said this thousands of times. It's like the best Walking Dead game I ever played. I'm there trying to shoot this real people bandit camp, and next minute zombies biting me because you've got two threats in this world, and you just have you have to have your head on a swivel type thing. So yeah, it's a fucking goddamn shame. I just think every game deserves at least two shots. I think Prince of Persia should get another go. I think Days Gone should have another go. I think Ghost of Yotei is getting another go. It's just it's a goddamn shame sometimes. I just think sometimes it really just bothers me of why can't these things get more of a chance? But that's just me. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we move on?
I think that was the last story, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're definitely moving in weird times for PlayStation.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
Who knows?
just to finish on a positive, Xbox. And I know it sounds really like so fucking cheesy, but it does look like the dominoes are falling. Like the the game plan of buying these publishers and buying the publishers and making them their own, and then it's all kind of clicked into place of like, yeah, these things we all get as consumers, we get in our own way of like, I don't want to keep going over to the Xbox. Unfortunately, I don't. That's just
if you
me.
can have one platform, you would.
Yeah,
Me
definitely.
Too. I mean, that's how I.
The games are coming out. We're getting the games. We're getting it at a decent price of a small subscription fee, and there's a lot of coming. It's a lot coming. Like January, and we're not getting much anything this year, but like February, there's loads of games out in February, March, April, May. Like Xbox is set, and then straight into Summer Games Fest. And I'm sure, and I bet you, they've got something to drop up their sleeve.
I mean, Call of
Because
Duty.
I say that Xbox have got nothing in January. They've just done Ninja Gaiden 2.
Yeah.
So what? That, you know what I mean? So what's stopping them from going? Let's put something out in June, Summer Games Fest, and it's out today. Fucking hell! And there's a game out in July, and there's a game out, and then Phil Spencer can come out at the end of the year.
They're gonna have more than just Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly. Phil Spencer's there December. We've just had the best years of our life. Games are coming out on Xbox and PlayStation. Profits
and
are
they're selling
up.
incredible.
Exactly, yeah. And it's great. And then all he has to do is sit on a stage on a Games Award or whatever and go, "This is our handheld console." And then we're all like, "Uncle Phil, you're the man."
Especially after this year, which is gonna be the Switch 2, right? Like,
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, handhelds are the kind of like
They're back.
handheld. Yeah, the adaptive handheld kind of stuff is huge.
They're back.
Because the Steam Deck also does the same thing, you know?
Yeah. I love my Steam Deck. I don't use it more. Daniel, have you been playing anything? What's going on? What are you playing? You playing the video games? Me neither. I haven't played nothing. Should we pretend that we played stuff?
Yeah, you tell me all the stuff you like.
I've been playing Dexter. No. To be fair, no, I haven't played anything. I've been trying to, but I keep falling asleep. Because I'm old and somewhat say bold. I played a couple more hours of Like a Dragon. It's
Okay.
It's lovely to
where you
see. No, I'm not that far. Ichiban's just met Namba. He's been shot by his boss. It's just nice to see. I just like watching. I like spending time with Ichiban. It's just very nice. Like I just like watching him. Just meet Namba. Like for me, it's nice to fill in the blanks of like what was his relationship with Namba like? What was his relationship with the what's the guy called Adachi? Like, yeah. So it's a really good time. I really enjoy it. I just unfortunately the frame rate's a bit jarring because it's very very much 30 frames. And it makes me tired. So I've been watching a lot of, for some reason, Dexter season 1. Fuck knows why.
The original.
Yeah, because I'm watching the new one, and then I just keep, I don't know, I just put it on. I'm just a bit strange like that. But yeah, it's a shame. Hopefully Connor can come back and tell us about games he plays, because he's a real gamer.
I think he'll be back in like 2 weeks. One more episode of me and you.
Yes. And next week will be in a remote location in the middle of Manchester.
Yeah. Well, that was
hopefully the internet will work.
That was our 5th year anniversary episode.
Yeah, fucking Debbie Dehannas.
Yeah, right.
But no, it's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. To talk about video games and talk about our feelings, and here's to the next 5 years. Hopefully we can have hopefully the next 5 years are positive. Xbox and PlayStation, they get together, they get married,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Phil and Herman, civil relationship, civil ceremony, and yeah, and then the evil overlords of all the companies, they stop sacking people. More people get hired.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe we could
yeah,
start talking
yeah,
about that.
yeah, yeah, and then AI actually a good thing.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, they can put games together like that, and we get GTA 7 within a year.
No. I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, with the AI. Yeah, it's good that. Very much so. So what do you think?
No.
Fair enough. Daniel, that was the last episode of the 5 years.
Hmm.
It's been
That's a way to
emotional.
put it. That's a weird way to put it, but yeah.
Crazy, isn't it? Of the 5 years. It's the last episode of the 4th year. Look, Daniel, we've done this for 5 years. It's been a great time. Daniel, have you got any more last minute words to say?
No. Just stop laying people off. That'd be great.
Yeah, man. People gotta eat.
I'm excited.
Um,
We're getting into the Switch 2 this year. Our 5th year. Switch 2. More consoles.
I
It's great.
think so. All right, I'm going to bed. Daniel, good night.
Bye bye.